No, 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 we're not interested. Oh no, we already have a company for that. If you're tired of hearing those types of responses when you cold call, what if I told you there's a better way to cold call in 2024? If you are looking for new customers, this is the best way to do it that I have found, especially if you're an exporter and you want to find overseas customers. Now, one of the biggest challenge is that most companies face when they cold call is they sound like everybody else. And because they sound like everybody else, they get treated like everybody else. And most people get hung up on. They get hung up on, they get rejected, and it is horrible. It feels terrible. But if you're one of those 1%, if you're one of the 1% watching this that views sales not as a numbers game, but as a skills game, you might want to check this out. So what do most people do? What do most people do? Well, most people sound like this. They're like, hey, it's Yash from Kyrock. The reason why I'm calling, and they got hung up on straight away. Or most of the time, you know, they have a short conversation and it usually ends up in everything. And it's because they sound excited and they sound like everybody else. The key to anything sales or marketing related is that you need to be able to stand out. And if you sound like everyone else, you talk like everybody else, well, what's going to happen? You're going to get treated like everyone else. So I have a new way, and I'll be honest, this isn't original content. This is something I learned from Jeremy Miner, from his NEPQ system. And honestly, it's been getting some tremendous results for some of the clients that we work with, some of the manufacturing customers, manufacturing companies that we work with, they get amazing results. So what is it? Well, the most important thing that you need to understand before you see this is that you need to not sound scripted. You not need to sound excited. You need to actually sound confused. Now, think about it like this, right? Say you're confused. As a human being, usually you help someone up. Say an old man came up to you in the middle of the road and he was like, hey, can you help me? I'm trying to get to the church. What are you going to do? You're going to help that person. And that's the exact same thing that you want to do here. And because you do this, what it does is it invokes curiosity. And the key is in your tonality. Because if you say this really quickly, it's not going to work. And the most important thing is you need to be able to practice this and really nail the tonality, right? So this is the technique that I want to show you, okay? And it's called the confused old man tone. Again, it's not fully original. I got this from somewhere else, but again, it has amazing results, right? So how do you say it? Well, when you call them up, the first thing that you want to say is, hey, is this Jenny? Yeah, it's just Yash from Vujis, and I was wondering if you could, help me out here. See how that develops a bit of intrigue, right? And that's the key thing you want to do there. They're going to be like, sure, of course, how can I help you? Even the top level executives are probably going to see that they can help you because they don't know who this is, right? It could be a potential customer and they don't want to come across as a horrible, horrible person. So they're going to be like, okay, yeah, sure, of course. Well, I'm not sure if you're the right person to speak to, but I was calling to see who would be responsible in your company at looking at any hidden gaps in your supply chain that could be causing you to lose money every single month. Right? Notice how that sounds, again, very interesting. It drives intrigue. And again, it's not like you're dealing with, hey, my name's Yash from Kyrock and I sell software development services. We work with tech companies and XYZ. Don't do that. Because if you sound like that, nobody's going to care, right? People care about their problems. And the fact that you've led with, first of all, okay, I'm not sure if this is the right person to speak to, and I wanted to see who would be responsible for any hidden gaps, right? So any possible hidden gaps, right? It's very important that you put possible there because it might be that they have no hidden gaps at all, right? And it just might be that you might have it, right? And the thing that you're doing here is you're starting with the problem, right? Which is, a lot of importers sometimes can get a lower price on their product. They can get a lower price, which means they're overpaying for the raw materials that they import and they use within their factory, or say they're a distributor, they can make more money, right? So by saying supply chain, again, it's very general, it could be many things, but the main thing is they might be losing money. Now, of course, you can change this depending on what it is. So hidden gaps would be just any hidden gaps within the area of business that you work within. So say you're a freight forwarder, you might want to say in your shipping that will be causing you to lose money or have your shipments arrive late. Like, it doesn't matter, right? It doesn't actually matter. If you're a manufacturer, you can say you're wasting money on your manufacturing process or efficiency, or you're wasting energy because you're using XYZ problem. It doesn't matter, right? And then the final thing is, okay, they're usually going to tell you 9 times out of 10, if you nail this, they'll usually tell you what it is. And then after that, all you're going to say is, who should I be talking to? Can you help me out? And they're usually going to tell you who that person is. Once they tell you who that is, usually when you call someone, you get to a gatekeeper. It's usually a receptionist or whatever, right? So how do you get past that gatekeeper? Well, in this example, you want to make it as low pressure as possible. Because if you just go off and say, hey, who's the managing director, who's the owner of this company? Yeah, could you put me through? How often is it that you actually get through? Never. You need to schedule an appointment. They'll say something like that. So in this instance, instead, what you want to say is something very different, which is, should I have you transfer me to him to leave a voicemail and she can call me back if she needs some help? See, this is very low pressure for the receptionist. And the reason why it's very low pressure is, well, he just wants to leave a voicemail. He doesn't want to talk to her. But guess what? If she transfers you over, what happens? Exactly. What happens is, she might pick up, because if she's there. And if she's not, okay, it's fine. You never would have spoken to her anyway, even if you got connected. And as you can see, this is a very simple way to avoid sales resistance, to avoid them thinking you're a salesperson and some person just trying to sell them something. Instead, you're coming in with an approach where you're confused, because at the end of the day, before you work with someone, do you really know if you can actually help them? No, you have to speak to them, you have to qualify them. And that's the exact frame that's going on here. It's like, hey, I'm not really sure. And it might seem a little bit deceptive at first, but you're right. Can you truly help them? You only sell to people you can truly help. And there you go. So I hope you found this video valuable. And if you're interested in learning some more about cold calling, you might want to watch this video because it's going to show you how to personalize your outreach. Because after this message, after you say this, what are you going to do when you speak to the prospect? You don't know what to do, right? So you need to be able to personalize your approach when you outreach someone, when you cold call them. And by doing that is knowing a little bit more about their business. And this video shows you how to research the prospect in a high level of detail so that you can really target their pain points and get them to commit to a meeting and then eventually become a customer. Thanks for watching.